Hello everybody, so today, what is it, Thursday, it's 18th of October 2012, just double checking the date and everything. So, again, here we are, we return with a new episode of Arrow, episode 2, titled Honour Thy Father. Kicking off from the brilliant pilot that we saw last week, and this one guest stars Kelly Hu, who is, for those of you who have watched, say, X-Men 2, for example, she was Lady Deathstrike. She plays China White, and obviously we see a bit more of Oliver Queen, and also there's Dinah Lance and her father, who's a police officer. Tommy Merlin is in there as well. Paul Diggle. Do you know what? Let me just say it right now. I love Paul Diggle. Right, the character is just. He's brilliant, and he's very, very handy in hand-to-hand combat. I'll say that for sure. But I'm not going to reveal too much about what his role was in this episode if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it, he was pretty sweet. So what was it in this episode? Well, we've got a bit more flashback regarding Oliver's time on the island, and very significant moment with his dad in particular. We also found out at the end of last week's episode, which I'm going to reveal a spoiler from last week's episode, so if you haven't watched it, here it comes. We know that his mother, Oliver Queen's mother, Moira Queen, was the one who was responsible for Oliver being marooned on the island. And we also find another revelation at the end of Honour Thy Father as well, especially to do with the little book that Oliver's been crossing off names to help, the list of names that his father put in this book. So yeah, again, it was very, very good, very solid. The story this time, as I say, was to do with a character called Martin Summers, who is one of the names on Robert Queen's list, and he's been working with the Triad, smuggling drugs and such, and being paid pretty much handsomely for it. He was responsible for killing someone who was going to testify against him, and Laura Lance is protecting his daughter, the daughter of the man that was killed, and she pretty much puts herself in the limelight, puts herself in harm's way kind of thing. So she's helping this daughter, Emily, completely forgotten the surname, Nosanto, that was it. Yes, her father was Victor Nosanto, I believe, if that was the name correctly. So she's protecting, or taking Martin Summers to trial, and put him away forever kind of thing. So that's pretty much the basics of the story. We also again get a bit more with Thea Queen and Oliver Queen. She actually eventually really has a proper heart-to-heart with him about when he disappeared, when she thought he was dead, and there was a very touching moment between Oliver and Dinah, which I thought was very, very good. Even though in the first episode he tries, pushes her away, in this episode he's having a reconciliation based on what Thea pretty much told him of her advice. So again, I mean, there were other interesting touches there in particular. What I will say is the fight scene between China White and Green Arrow even, I wish it was longer. It could have been more effective if it was a longer fight, and I think that China White would have really put Oliver to sleep. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's still early days, but I think it's got a really good foundation, and I do think that as time goes on, obviously more revelations will be unfolding. As I say, Deathstroke is going to appear, Deadshot is due to appear soon, Huntress. We've even been told that a certain Batman villain by the name of Garfield may also be appearing, so who knows where that's going to lead. But yeah, as I say, it's just amazing seeing the roles, the particular different roles that Stephen Amell is playing. He's not just playing Oliver Queen and Green Arrow, he's playing Oliver Queen on the island, before he was, the billionaire's son. He was Oliver Queen, after appearing coming back from the island. He's Green Arrow, he's he's a mixture of characters basically, and it's so good to see a guy being that diverse with one character but playing different sides, as it were, which is awesome. I mean, a lot of actors could do that, but it's just nice to see that change of pace, as it were, kind of thing. One of my favourite things that I love about this show is just the darkness and the grittiness about it. It's not the romance lovey-dovey side of Smallville, you know, where has that worked with Smallville. On Arrow, I really can't see that working just as well, but you've obviously got Dinah Lance and obviously Tommy Merlin. There's obviously something going on between those two, which is why Tommy is more worried about Oliver finding out, despite the fact that Dinah hates Oliver for cheating on her with with her sister Sarah, who unfortunately died in the boat accident in the yacht. So yeah, it's almost as if Tommy is saying, let's get Oliver back for what he did to you, kind of thing. And you know, you kind of say to yourself, why? But again, it's just one of those things. But at the same time, as I say, yeah, really good, very solid, very, very good. And I'm sure that we have not seen the last. We definitely haven't seen the last of China White. And I would suggest that you learn a bit more about China White's background and who she is, and what the woman is really capable of, because she is brutal. I mean, she is brutal, and it's good to see someone like Kelly Hu is playing her. She's obviously got the chops for it, as we see from X-Men 2. But overall, like I say, really good, and it's just going to get better, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Like I say, I do wish that the fight scene between Oliver and Green Arrow and China was longer. I did love when Dinah's dad eventually caught up with Green Arrow, and when he tells him to put his bow down and raise his hands, obviously he doesn't do it, but it's what he does after that I just really enjoyed. And yeah, it just made me think, oh yeah, I know some people will describe Arrow as, you know, Batman in Smallville kind of thing, which is fine. You know, it has the elements of Batman, and people have said that, you know, even Guggenheim and Kreisberg and you know, Berlanti have all said that in some ways they've sort of borrowed from what Nolan has done with Batman Begins. They've taken a look at what he's done with Batman Begins and used his concept, you know, in some sense with the show. And to be perfectly honest, it works. You know, I wouldn't want it being all light and bright kind of thing. It's much better with the grittiness and the darkness and the edginess, because at the end of the day, Oliver is protecting his identity. He doesn't want people to know that he is moonlighting as Green Arrow. So why not have it in that sort of darkness type style? It fits for where the show is heading, and when you've got the likes of China White and Deathstroke appearing, well, anything's possible, right? So yeah, lovely, absolutely brilliant. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to read the digital comic that was released yesterday as well, so I'll read that, and then yeah, we'll look forward to next week's episode. Can't wait, people. Okay, I've got to stop talking now. I've really got to stop talking. I wish I could just talk and talk forever, but you lot will just get bored, won't you? You have actually. Are you still awake? Hello? Anybody? Okay, well, never mind. Anyway, I'm going to go, so I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.